Hey guys, welcome to Atari Series 7. Today I'm reviewing this, which is the Marvel Legends Avengers video game Abomination Build-A-Figure. So this is really cool. So I was kind of on the fence about this Abomination, and mainly because I own the Marvel Select one, which I feel is one of the best Abomination figures ever made, and one of the best ones. I do really like this one, though, to be honest, because it's based on the video game design. That was the comic book version, and I will compare those in a minute. But yeah, I really like this, and I decided to ultimately get it because I'm really excited for the video game. I'm not really sure if the video game is going to be that good, but I really like the designs and concepts we're getting from the video game, especially as toys. So yeah, I reviewed the other characters and I eventually decided to just pick him up entirely, and as you can see, he looks really nice. He's pretty big too. I would say he's one of the more larger Build-A-Figures. He's a little bit taller than the Smart Hulk Build-A-Figure, which is one of the tallest Build-A-Figures, so, you know, he's definitely a tall one. And in terms of sculpt, I think the face looks really good. I like how his eyes look. I like this black that goes around his eyes. I like his ginormous grind mouth. I think it looks cool with the little teeth there and the inside. They've also done the ears, which look really nicely. They're kind of pinkish though on the sides, or brownish, which is a little weird, but nonetheless really cool. He's got these spikes that go on the back of his head, and they're kind of like rubber. You can see they start as little small spikes, and they go in these big ones. And then he's got this huge spike collar that goes all the way down, which really reminds me of the MCU version of Abomination. This kind of reminds me of like a mix between those two, and he's got all these reptilian type scale armors around him, which is pretty cool, and they go on his hands too. You know, it's very consistent. I like that he's got the spikes up there. Some are green, some are kind of like yellow. Regardless, they look cool. His hands are so big, his fingernails too. He's got some yellow paint on the inside of that. And then also on the sides here, I like how it does that. He's also got some yellow on his torso, as you can see. His pants are really weird because they're kind of ripped down here. But if you look up here, I don't know, maybe like you can kind of see where the harness kind of breaks and stuff. But it just kind of looks like, you know, very, not really ravaged, I guess is the best way to see it. Like this kind of looks more like a suit up here, and then like this part doesn't, which is weird. And it kind of like feels a little rubbery too in this area, but nonetheless not so bad. And I do like the rips on him. And as you can see, pretty neat. He's got some of those like claws on the back and everything, the scales, and then his toes are honestly really creepy with that side toe. But they do look really good, really neat. You know, he definitely looks like a monster. Very cool. Now, as for articulation, it's very articulate. Probably one of the most articulate Abomination figures we've ever seen. He's got a 360 at the head. He can look up and down. He's got 360 at the elbows. They swing out at the shoulder. He's got a 360 there. He's got a 360 here. He's got a single joint at the elbow, but it goes pretty far back. He's got a 360 at the wrist, and they're on hinges. Really cool. He also has butterfly joints. I've never seen a butterfly joint on an Abomination figure. Like, I don't know, maybe they've done on some of the older ones because I really don't own the other ones, but from pretty much all I've seen on mine, I've never seen that before. I think that's really cool. He's got this kind of like weird joint here that allows him to move up and down. I think it's the diaphragm. He's got a 360 at the torso, but it's a little stiff. The legs come forwards, backwards, and outwards. He's got a 360 at the thigh. He's got double jointed knees. The feet move up and down, but they put this little, it's really hard to see, but this little part here actually rotates. Really hard to see though, and then it also rocks side to side. So in terms of articulation, I feel this might be one of the most articulate Abomination figures we've ever seen, to be honest, from Hasbro or really just any company. I mean, that's pretty, you know, there's a large amount of articulation on this. Now here we have a comparison of the Smart Hulk, and as you can see, he's a little bit taller. I mean, maybe it's just because of how I positioned him, maybe his head, but yeah. To me, this one looks a little bit taller. I will say one thing about the Smart Hulk compared to this Abomination that I've noticed, like, regardless of height or not, the proportions on Abomination are just so much bigger. Like, if you look at his hands, compare him to his hands, and you look at his legs, and you compare him to these legs, like, personally, I really like the Smart Hulk figure, but the proportions on Abomination are a lot. Like, they're a lot bigger, and I think that looks pretty good, to be honest. Here's a comparison with the Thing from the Super Skrull wave from this year. And here's a comparison of him with some of the characters from the new Avengers game coming out this year. And just to kind of show you like a side-by-side with Captain America, just to kind of like really give you an idea of how much bigger he is than all of them. And just really, as you can see there, he's like massive compared to these guys. And yeah, very cool. I'm excited to see Abomination in the game. I feel Abomination is one of the most interesting villains in Marvel that's so criminally underrated and underused. but I'm really excited to see what the game does with him, and he just really looks great along these guys. Here he is with the leader, as you can see, looking pretty good. Here's the comparison with the Select Abomination, and overall, in terms of like sculpt, this one is probably still the best, and this one probably just because it looks more like the comic, but in terms of articulation, I really have to give it to this new one, because this new one is just really articulate. It's really incredible, and also too, this new one is based on the video game, whereas this one's based on the comic book, so comparing them really isn't that fair, but you know, I really think this new one here, I think it looks really good. I'm excited to see it in the game, and I think it's pretty cool. So thank you for watching. Please rate, like, and subscribe.